Hello and welcome to episode 1 of what's going to be a 6-part series of me taking a deep dive and reviewing all 6 trainers for the 2025 25th anniversary of the Size City Series.
Why did I tell you I was going to Shanghai? I want to be with you tonight. Why did I holler I was going to Shanghai? I want to be with you tonight.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Spezial Ron. I'm your host, Ronnie Parsons, as you all know. Back in 2010, for the 10th anniversary of Size being a store, they released 6 trainers that were part of a City Series, Size's own take on the iconic City Series that Adidas have done for a number of years. These trainers included the London, Dublin and Manchester, 3 cities that are iconic to the City Series in general, and then their take on 3 new cities, the Cardiff, Glasgow and the infamous Adidas Birmingham, which have been sat at the top of my wish list for a number of years now. 15 years on, this series is absolutely iconic. Every single trainer from there, if you try and buy it now, the resale prices will make your toes curl. They're absolutely ridiculous, and for good reason. These trainers were absolutely untouchable. Beauties, the lot of them. Flash forward to 2020 to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Size. They revisited the iconic City Series, but did something different. All the cities included in this release were the twin cities of the original release back in 2010. The 6 trainers included in this release were as follows: the Shanghai, Liverpool, Stuttgart, Havana, Cordoba and the Joburg, which all twinned with their respective cities from back in 2010. Flash forward again to 2024, it's Christmas Day and Size have just announced that in 2025 we're getting a brand new 25th anniversary, 6 new trainers for the Size City Series. And in today's video I'm going to be talking about the first trainer off the chopping block of the 2025 City Series, the Adidas Shanghai. The one thing I don't really mention when reviewing trainers is the box. The one thing that kind of griped me about this trainer was it's not an inverted box. The 2020 releases did have the inverted box because it was the twin cities for the releases back in 2010, and there's no name on the side because the Liverpools and all the trainers from the 2020 releases had the name corresponding on the lid of the box. But it's just your normal bog standard Adidas box. A lot bigger than some of the size 9s that I've had in the past, I will say. But yeah, it's still a box, still a blue box. I'm not too fussed on that front. The 2025 Adidas Shanghai. I will use the word marmite to describe this trainer. It was very 80-20. A few people loved it, a lot more hated it. It was a lot of backlash from the colourway. And a lot of people were saying that Size had run out of ideas and they were bringing out disgusting colourways. And a lot of people weren't happy that this was the first outing of the 2025 City Series. Personally for me, I'm in love with this trainer. Purple's my favourite colour. And I think it complements the orange well with that dash of blue. When I looked at the pictures, I was a bit unsure about the blue at the back. But in hand, it just complements so well. One thing I will say is that on the pictures, the colour didn't really do it justice. I find that a lot with a lot of Adidas trainers is that on the pictures, because it's taken in a studio or it's taken in dark light, low light, whatever you want to call it, the pictures never do it justice. In hand, I would say these aren't as vibrant purple as they look in the promotional films and promotional photos that Size and Adidas put on respectively. They're not as purple as you think. And I'd even go as far to say the orange aren't as vibrant. They're more of, say, a burnt orange, like a neon orange. And obviously the trainer colourway itself is inspired by the neon nightlife of Shanghai. But as far as the shoe goes, I think it's the little details for me that just make it the trainer that it is for me. Little gold detailing on the waffle tongue, obviously on the Shanghai text, and the one in 2025 on the back. It's all leather lined, and this premium suede, it's a really, really nice suede on the upper, so it's just a beauty for me. And I have tried them on in the house and stuff like that. They fit like a dream for me, which is always something I always find difficult with Adidas trainers, is I'll try them on in my house and they're a bit iffy, I'm not quite sure about them. And then it takes an actual wear to be like, yeah, okay, these fit okay. But these instantly, as soon as I slipped them on my feet, I knew that they were going to be a good fit. It's just trying to find an outfit to go with, that's the trouble. And another little detail that I love is the Shanghai sort of nameplate, if you want to call it, in the actual sole itself. But when I said this to my dad, he did make it a good point. It's one of the nicest sort of looking bits of the trainer, but you can't even see it because it's inside the shoe. So Bit ironic there, but what can you do? Now, the Adidas Shanghai comes with 2 different lace changes, an orange to complement the stripes and then a blue to complement that back tab. Personally, for me, I'm going to stick with the purple laces in. The other 2, I'm not much of a lace changer myself. There's only a couple trainers that I have changed the laces on, but this one I'll be keeping as this. I think the purple, majority of the trainer is purple, so to add another splash of colour in there, I think that'll be a bit too much, but the purple's where it's at for me. Now, I am a sucker for the little details and small little knickknacks, so I was quite pleased to see what else I got in the box, along with the trainers. So we had the 2025 tissue paper, which was wrapped lovely, quite well wrapped my trainers came, I will stress that, but it just came wrapped in them with the normal white tissue paper in with the trainers as well. Obviously the 2 spare pairs of laces, the booklet, which I was quite pleased to actually have a booklet. I've seen all the other booklets from the Size City series that they've done in the past. It's just your bog standard. If you know the trainers, you'll know what goes on in the booklets, really. So it's just the normal promotional pictures and little knickknacks, and basically the story of the trainer, what made Size decide to go for this trainer and that city, and go through that crap, basically. It comes flush with the colours of the trainer itself, with the big number 1 in the back to symbolise it's the first trainer. So I imagine all the other trainers will have the replicate number and then the different colours spread throughout the book. And another thing I thought was interesting was the swing tag that came along with the shoes. I'm not too sure if the 2020 ones came with the same, with just the 2020 logo on. Not too sure, so if anyone has that information, put it in the comments down below. But just thought it was a cool little detail, to be honest. And it did remind me a lot of the brown leather swing tag that Adidas Spezial put on all their trainers. So, as the Spezial Ron, I was quite happy with that. What I will say is this trainer has got a bit more sort of significance to me and a bit more of a personal story, because this is the first Size City series trainer that I've ever bought, or that I've ever owned so far. Fingers crossed I'll be able to change that one day and get the infamous Adidas Birmingham, which are very high on my wish list. Although I say that, my dad did actually take part in the raffle for the first Shanghai that they did back in 2020, but we were blissfully unaware of its significance and its importance back then, so that would have been interesting to see if I'd have had a pair of them. Moving on to the latest announcement of the 2025 Size City series, the Dublin has been announced and the pictures for the Dublin have been shown. It was common knowledge a couple of weeks before in the Adidas community in different groups that it was going to be a Dublin, and now it's following suit that Size are just reworking and remaking all of the old Size City series from the 12 or 13, I think it is, trainers that they've done in the past. And again, this is a very, very 50-50. I've seen a lot of people hating on it, and I've seen a lot of people like it. Personally, for me, again, I'm in love with it. It's a leather trainer, and it looks really nice. Obviously inspired by the Guinness colours. And yeah, I shall be queuing for these when the eventual date comes out. And I've heard off a few people that in the Dublin store, in the Size in Dublin, they're going to be released on like the 14th of March, just before St Paddy's Day. But after that, we're going to get them a lot later in sort of the Birmingham, Manchester and all the other stores. So to round off, I am quite pleased with this outing from Size for the first of the 1 in 2025 releases that they're doing for the 25th anniversary of Size, the City series. I'm in love with it. I love it. Personally, it's a trainer for me. I know not everybody's going to like it. I know that Yorkie 3 Stripes said you can keep your Shanghai. He wasn't bothered, but I was. So that concludes the first episode in what is going to be a 6-part series of me divulging and reviewing and giving my take on the 6 trainers that's going to be in the 25th anniversary for the Size City series. Thanks for watching. I've been the Spezial Ron, and I'll see you at some point in the near future.